Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Foodie Friday. My name is Tiffany and I'm super excited to have you joining me today. We are getting ready to be heading back to school here at the end of the month. I can't even believe it's August. I can't even believe the Sunday of summer has arrived and we are counting down the days until our school year begins. I actually head back to work on the 23rd and everybody's back in school by the 31st. So with that being said, I thought that it would be really wise for the next few Foodie Fridays to show you some of the things that I make on really busy school nights, because if you're not aware, my husband and I are both educators. I am an elementary school counselor. My husband is a special ed teacher, and we have 5 crazy kiddos, high school, middle school, all the way down to 1st grade, and it's just hectic. We have soccer, and my daughter is a competitive dancer, so that takes up a ton of our time. So when it's, you know, the busy season, which it's about to be, we have to have some ready to go meals. So what I'm gonna show you today is a Taco Tuesday. I know I've already done tacos on my channel. However, these are gonna be simple tacos. And I'm gonna show you some ways to kind of zhuzh them up a little bit so they feel fancy, so your family feels like they're being pampered and spoiled, which my family is used to being pampered and spoiled when it comes to cooking. So just finding ways to zhuzh up something that you already have can be really, really fun and a great way to show your family that you care. So we're gonna make just regular Tuesday tacos, but we're gonna zhuzh them up a bit. So let's get started. We're gonna start by browning our meat. The ground beef that I'm using today is 93.7, but you can use whatever works for you. I like to use a less fatty meat when I'm using ground beef. I just feel like it has a better flavor, but it's completely up to you. You can use whatever you like, drain it really well. Whatever works for you is perfectly fine. So I just have a large skillet here that I'm going to be using. I get questions a lot about my pots and pans. They are from Caraway. I used to have a discount code for them, but it isn't active currently, so I will reach out to them and see if I can reactivate that. But in the meantime, I'm just using the meat tool, the ground meat tool that I purchased at the Dollar Tree. This really does help to just kind of break everything up. You're going to kind of spread it out the best that you can, get it as broken up as you can, and then you're going to let it brown all the way. Just kind of stirring it and messing with it as little as you can, just until it's all the way brown. So a staple for any good taco night is some sides. We're gonna keep this super simple. Number 1, because I have 5 crazy kids who do not like anything that isn't super simple. Number 2, because we're short on time, right? Already right now it's 5:45. This is gonna take me a little bit longer because I have to keep moving the camera around. But on a normal day, we would wanna have this done in 30 minutes or less so the kids can eat and we can be on our way to move on to the next activity. So we're gonna get our sides, or our toppings, I'm sorry, cut up and ready to go in their dishes. And then we're gonna go season our meat. And then we're gonna talk about what we're gonna put on top, as well as what we're gonna eat the meat in. Taco toppings can look very different depending on the amount of time that you are willing to put in. On a busy work night and school night when there's soccer and all kinds of different stuff, on a busy school night after work and soccer and dance and everything else, I keep the toppings pretty simple. Literally lettuce, tomato, red onion if I have it, and some cheese, sour cream, and some salsa. Typically I have a fresh pico de gallo in my fridge. However, this week we had actually eaten all of it, shockingly. So right now I'm just shredding up some lettuce. Now you can use whatever you like, some iceberg. I had romaine hearts because that's what I had already purchased, but honestly it's just up to you and whatever, you know, sounds delicious to you. Next up, we're gonna do some shredding of the cheese. This is the cheddar that I showed in the mac and cheese recipe. It's the Vermont sharp cheddar from Cabot. This is what I like. You can use whatever works for you. And to make things even faster, you could use an already shredded cheese, which would be ideal. I don't buy shredded cheese. I just feel like it's really dry, but you can purchase that and make it extra simple, especially if you have to make any quesadillas for picky picky eaters. I have one of those, but luckily he eats these tacos. So, but there were many days when he was growing up, that I had to make him quesadillas on the side. Next up is tomatoes. So for, our family, I only cut up one tomato because not all of my children will eat it. In fact, very few of my children will eat it. However, there are a few of us that like it, so I make sure to have some on the side, but just dice it up nice and small so it easily fits into your taco and doesn't take up too much valuable space, because we all know we're going to load it up with the extra good stuff, the cheese. Once I had cut up all of our toppings, it was time to go over and check on our ground beef. I just gave it another good zhuzh and it was pretty much ready to go. I just kept stirring until all of the meat was cooked, and then I turned off the heat until it was time to season it up. Okay, my friends, the time has come for us to season up our ground beef. So there are multiple ways that you can make homemade tacos. We're gonna make this, like I said, the most simple way, the way that's gonna get the job done very quickly and still delicious. So that's with obviously a taco packet. So today I'm using this one here that I picked up at Walmart. You can make your own. I know that some people find that these are not as healthy as they could be if you make them by yourself, which is totally great. You can find recipes for that. I remember making one when I was in MOPS. Moms of Preschoolers. It was a cool ministry that I was in when my kids were little. But right now, this is what we're going with, and this thing is like 40-something cents. We're gonna use one packet. I used 2 pounds of ground beef because there's a lot of us to feed, but if there's only a smaller amount, you can use 1 pound of ground beef. But I'm gonna use one packet, and then I'm also going to season it with my secret seasoning in tacos, and that's ranch seasoning. You guys, pick one of these up, have this in your house. I season everything with this. It's great on chicken, pork chops, potatoes, tater tots, like tacos. It's good literally in everything. This is not sponsored by Hidden Valley, but Hidden Valley, if you want to hit me up, I'm happy to take your sponsorship. But these two together is where it's at. So we're gonna go ahead and season this up. So I'm gonna use one packet. Calls for, I believe, 2/3 of a cup of water. So we'll double that, right? 2/3 of a cup of water. And we will then add in, I don't know how much I would say. I don't know how much is in here. Maybe 1/4 of a cup is in here. So we'll probably put in a good few dashes. I'm probably gonna open the side that doesn't have the holes so I can get a good amount in there, but this is gonna be all up to your taste and what you like. So we're gonna add these two. I know it sounds crazy. Trust me, this is delicious. Strike what I said though about adding the water. I'm not going to double the water. I'm gonna put in a little bit more than 2/3, probably closer to a cup, and then we'll see if we need to add any more. When it starts cooking, I don't want it to get too watery. So, sorry, mistake. For my giant family, I used 2 pounds of ground beef. Again, that isn't something that you have to do. You can use, whatever amount works for you, but check your seasoning and decide if it's got enough for you. If it doesn't taste like it's, strong enough, I know some people really like a lot of, taco seasoning and they like it to be a little extra seasoned. Check it to make sure that it's got what you're looking for. If it doesn't, you can always add more. Once you have all the water and your seasonings into your skillet, you're going to turn it down onto low and let it simmer. Okay, my friends, we've got our ground beef simmering and it's all seasoned up. Now we're gonna move into our shells. So there's lots of different ways that you can eat your tacos. You can eat them in a hard shell, a soft shell. You can eat them on a tostada, which is like a flat tortilla that's been fried and is crispy. You can eat it on a salad, whatever works for you. But for tonight, we're gonna do it the way my family used to do it when I was little, and that's frying up our own tortillas. It's fantastic. It tastes delicious. It takes a little bit longer, but it is worth every bit of effort. So we're gonna start by putting some oil into our pan. I typically use vegetable oil for this. However, I have canola oil. I just ran out of vegetable oil when I made some pan fried chicken the other day. So, and we're also gonna be using some soft tortillas here. And these are in the soft taco size. So, the fajita size, I'm sorry, the fajita size. So they're a little bit smaller because they do kind of like bubble up and get a little bit bigger when you're cooking them. And so if you do the regular size or the burrito size, they'll be giant. So up to you how you wanna do this. But I'm gonna show you how we make these. And then we're gonna figure out our toppings, and I'm gonna show you a really cool way to season up your sour cream to make it a little extra special. You're going to need somewhere to put your tortilla shells after you've fried them. So I use this cookie sheet with the cooling rack on it. And we're also going to need some metal tongs. Now you can use regular plastic tongs. You could also use a fork or something like that, but using metal tongs is the best when it comes to frying things up because it's not going to melt. I also have a knife there because as we're frying up our flour tacos, they will start to bubble, and if they get too bubbly, it can be hard to fold them in half. If you're making just a tostada, which means you're frying them and leaving them flat, it's not that big of a deal, but when you're getting big bubbles, you're going to want to give them a little pop to make it so you can still fold them in half. So as you saw there, I started by putting the tortilla flat. I let it brown up a little bit. I'm doing this over medium or medium high heat depending on how comfortable you are with the oil. And once it's browned up a little bit, I flip it over and I let it sit for just a couple of seconds, and then I fold it in half and finish frying it that way, just to give it its shape. So let it cook, flip it over, you'll notice it's bubbling up, grab the knife, just pop some of those bubbles, use your tongs to fold it in half. Sometimes you have to use your knife to assist you, and then let it cook on each side once it's folded in half. And you can let it get as brown and crispy or, as lightly crispy as you like. We like ours just lightly crispy and still, chewy and soft. So I don't cook them and fry them too much, but just enough to give them, the crunch when you bite in, but they're still chewy to eat. They're so delicious. And they're a little extra time consuming because, you're frying one at a time, but my family will just kind of come in and eat as they finish up. Everybody will get a taco, and then as they're finished up, the next round will come, and, that way everybody's able to get some fried shells. But this little extra tip makes them really, really good and something different than your regular store-bought shells. Okay, so our shells are done. They're back there cooling off. Our meat is done. It smells phenomenal in here. Now let's talk about toppings. So we have our cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes, obviously, but I wanted to talk about salsas and sour cream. So I keep this little container here in my spice cabinet. This is where I keep all of my packaged seasonings. I have so many taco seasonings. We keep these on hand. But this is also where I keep extra condiments when we go to fast food. So we've got some Chick-fil-A sauce in here. We've got some garden herb ranch from Chick-fil-A, but this is also where I keep our Taco Bell seasonings. So Diablo sauce and mild sauce. And that could be something, it doesn't have to be Taco Bell. That's just where we prefer to go. And that is the only option here where we live. If we were back in Vegas, we would probably have gone to Del Taco. But having these little sauce packets on hand just makes it easy for kiddos and yourself to just kind of add in a little bit of flavor. A lot of times we would have a fresh pico de gallo, especially if I were making like a big taco bar and really good tacos like I did before. But on fast weeknights where we're trying to get this done in a really quick manner, that's what we have. So now we're gonna zhuzh up some sour cream, and then I think we're gonna make a margarita. Now this part is also completely unnecessary if you're running really low on time. Just pop open your sour cream and put it out on the counter. That's perfectly fine. But again, if you're looking to just kind of elevate your tacos a little bit and with very little time, you'll want to just try this recipe. I'm telling you, ranch is like that secret ingredient, guys. You can put it in anything. So I just put in a little dash of some lime juice. I have that in my fridge always. And then I put in a little bit of ranch seasoning. Now this is completely up to you, however much or however little as you would like. You know, put in a little bit, taste it, and go back and add more. I also later on added a little dash of salt. That was something I forgot. So mix it up until it's nice and creamy. I'm showing you the consistency here, and it's ready for the tacos. Okay, so in one of my last videos, I showed you how to make a pear margarita, and I said that it was based off of a recipe of my mango margarita, which is one that I just kind of decided to wing myself. So there's a restaurant on Long Island in Port Jeff called Margarita, which I go to when I go visit my cousin who lives there, and they have the best mango margarita I've ever had in my life. The mango puree is fresh. They make it there on site, and it is phenomenal, like phenomenal. And if you're ever in the area or you're local, make sure that you go there, get the pupusa, the pork carnita pupusa. With the mango margarita, you can't go wrong. My mouth is watering. This always happens when I'm making the cocktail. I didn't have one in my last Foodie Friday, and actually had some comments saying, well, where's the cocktail? So I feel very Sandra Lee right now, but we're gonna make our own mango margarita that's easy, weeknight. We just got home from our crazy day. I can't drink with dinner on crazy nights because that's usually happening before we go out to do all of these things. But when I get home and the kids are in bed and I'm about to go have a tubby, mango margarita for me. So we're gonna be using the Goya Mango Nectar. Now you don't have to use this brand. This is just what I use. It's easy to find in my grocery store, and nectar is what you want. You don't want to be using juice because that's just way too watery. You want a nectar. This is really, really thick, and this is what's going to make your margarita substantial. So we're going to be using this, and then you need your basics. So lime juice or fresh lime, triple sec, and then your favorite tequila for margaritas. For our mango margarita today, we're going to do this the exact same way that you would do the pear margarita, and that's by starting with your mango nectar. Remember, nectar is the most important part. Make sure it's nice and thick. Then you're going to pour in a couple dashes of the lime juice, whatever is up to your tasting. Also splash in about an ounce or two of your tequila, and then about a half an ounce of the triple sec. Give it a really good stir or shake if you're using a cocktail shaker. Make sure you've got a good amount of ice, and your margarita, nice and refreshing, is ready to go. Okay, yet again, another super fresh, delicious, tasty margarita, and you have to give this one a try. So good. I have filled my taco shells with meat, as you can see here, and they're nice and crispy. So they are ready to get some toppings, and then we're gonna eat. Oh, I can't wait. We gotta eat one. Here we go. Mm-hmm. The shell is both crunchy and chewy and delicious. Oh my goodness. Now let's wash it down with a little margarita. Never gets old. All right, my friends, that is it for tonight's Foodie Friday / Taco Tuesday. Homemade tacos made easy for weeknights when you're crazy busy. I hope you found some inspiration in today's video and learned something new. If you give this recipe a try, I would love to hear it down below. You guys have been so awesome about letting me know when you try out the recipes, and I just love that so much. It's fun to think that there's a possibility that we're eating the same thing on the same night. So if you enjoy these videos, I would love for you to consider giving them a big thumbs up. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you are not already. I post new videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy eating.